On this episode of See Indonesia, we're taking you to scenic Lagoi Bay on the north shore of Bintan. To chillax at the luxurious Banyan tree resorts. Get acquainted with the region's incredible wildlife and conservation efforts. And discover the rich history of a long-forgotten kingdom.
Come see the beauty! Only on See Indonesia!
See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Our adventures in Bintan Island continues as we get acquainted with the iconic and breathtaking Lagoi Bay, located in the island's northern coast. And if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on a summer getaway spot like Bintan, you're gonna want to stay right by the beach. Thankfully, our friends from Bintan Resorts hooked us up with a couple of incredible places to stay in, so we're never too far away from our daily dose of vitamin C. First stop, Cassia Bintan. Now this is the spot you want to be in if you're young and hip. Or if you're aspiring to be young and hip. Cassia Bintan is a trendy apartment-style hotel located right by the beach. With a self-service convenience store loaded with snacks, and most importantly, instant noodles. This hotel also has a huge green space, complete with an outdoor gym. Basically, it's got pretty much everything you want. Cassia offers various room categories as well. You've got plenty of options, whether you're looking for a 1 or 2 bedroom, with or without a loft, or maybe you prefer rooms with a garden or ocean view. Naturally, we picked the best combination that we could get.
And now this is the 2-bedroom loft of the Cassia Bintan. And now as you can see, it reminds you more of an apartment room rather than a hotel room. And it all revolves around Cassia Bintan's concept of self-service. As you can see here, that self-service is very evident in the kitchen, where you have a full set of appliances if you want to make your own food, and also a fully functioning induction stove to cook up some instant noodles, some popcorn, or whatever else snacks you fancy. And of course, you're also equipped with a full set of cutlery as well for all your cooking needs. And if you go down here, you'll find the main bedroom. Now, as the name suggests, there are 2 bedrooms in this particular unit. There's the one king-sized bed for 2 people, and this one comes with its own bathroom, fully equipped, large sink and all, and also comes with a TV. And the other bedroom is just right over there, fits 1 person, also has a TV. And the best part about this one is the view that you get, but more on that later. Now in the living room quarters, you see primary colors up to wazoo. So you've got the wall prints, you got these chairs, and even the backsplash in the kitchen area there. But the best part is this is of course a loft bedroom. So when you look up, you got the actual loft bedroom. I'll be there in a sec. So really, it says 2-bedroom, but really you can fit probably 6, maybe 7 people up here. So it's a great place for like a bunch of young people to just gather around and have a good time. Because look at the size of this thing. So this room really does emulate the feel of those swanky big city apartments. But you know, there's one thing I haven't talked about just yet, and it's the best part. Because you see, when in those big city apartments, you get a view of the skyline, a lot of tall buildings. But here, you get something a lot better. You might want to put your shades on for this one.
Yes, sir. having the beach as your front porch view is second to none. Being able to just easily lounge out here and take in the cool ocean breeze makes everything worth it. But we didn't stay in a seaside resort so that we can stay nice and dry. Oh no, we're here to get soaked. But we didn't stay in a seaside resort so that we can stay nice and dry. Yep, this is why we came here, to have some fun in the sun. This here is Lagoi Bay, the place for all things water sports. If you're looking for an adrenaline rush, then boy, you came to the right place. This 3.5-kilometer stretch of true blue natural beauty is the only public beach in the Bintan Resorts area. As such, all are welcome to partake in its aquatic adventures. I'm starting off my day at the beach nice and slow with the stand-up paddle. Believe it or not, I've actually done stand-up paddling before, albeit in a relatively calm river. But this is completely different. It might not look like much, but boy oh boy, this thing is killer on your feet. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic view out here, but I found myself having to kneel down a couple of times because of how tiring it is to constantly keep the board balanced. And the folks on those jet skis over there are not making it any easier for me, I'll tell you that. I figured, if you can't beat them, join them.
Alright, so my jet ski is ready, right over there. I've never ridden a jet ski before. Sure it's gonna be fun. Pretty sure it's pretty much like riding a bike, except it's on the water and it's motor powered, and I'm wearing a life vest. Let's get it.
I'm not entirely off the mark there. It is pretty much like riding a bike, just with the added fear of drowning if you tip over. But hey, that's what the life vest is for. It took a while to get adjusted to the weight and the overall feel of the jet ski. But once I got it down and started cruising, there's nothing like it. Riding the jet ski was exhilarating, but the surface of the water is only half the fun. The other half lies underneath, so naturally, we took a boat out to sea and found a spot for snorkeling. The waters around Bintan are rich in marine biodiversity. Just off the coast here, we were able to see several clownfish swimming around some sea anemones. The only downside is the waters here can get a little bit wavy, but still, it doesn't take away from the sheer joy of swimming with the fishes. Alright, time to head back to dry land, because I'm starving. Thankfully, there's a place right by the beach that serves my favorite kind of post-swim comfort food.
So you know that feeling you get when you just finish swimming at the public pool and then you open up your lunchbox and it's a perfectly square mee goreng that your mom made for you? Well, this is kind of like that feeling, except maybe a little bit more upscale. We are at Warung Ye right now, which is a local establishment here, and it's very popular among the international tourists, and I mean, I can see why. These are all staples of Indonesian comfort food, and incredible just looking at it. I can't wait to finish this recording so I can immediately chow down and eat. So, if you don't mind me, I'll head straight to it.
And that wraps up our day here in the Lagoi Bay. But that won't be the end of our adventures just yet. As tomorrow, we'll show you a bit more of Bintan's wild side. Literally. So, Stay tuned.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Do you ever feel like you want to get away from it all? Like getting a nice little slice of paradise to yourself, where you can get some peace and quiet. Well, if you're also into incredible seaside views, world-class spa treatments, and top-tier cuisine, then Banyan Bintan is the resort for you. Located right beside our previous resort, Cassia Bintan, Banyan offers the same incredible seaside views, but significantly more secluded. Here, you'll stay in these luxurious cliffside villas, surrounded by lush trees. Or if you prefer, perhaps a villa by the rocks, or even a villa with an entire spa built right into it. Overall, Banyan Bintan Resorts offers 8 unique accommodation options.
So this is if you really want to splurge. If you really want to ball out, this is what you're getting. The 2-bedroom infinity villa at Banyan Bintan. Now if you see right as you open the door, this large gathering area, but beyond that is the massive infinity pool, which gives you an incredible view of the southern sea. You can even see like a little island over there in the distance. Makes it look very idyllic, very, very calm, and unbelievably gorgeous. And of course you can see also there's 2 entirely separate bedrooms, one over there on opposite sides of the pool. And so without further ado, let's take a look inside one of the bedrooms. Now this is one of the bedrooms that are available. The first thing you'll notice once you come into this bedroom is that very calming essential oil smell. Now that's from the essential oils, the aromatherapy that have been carefully put in the rooms, so you smell in and you're immediately calm. Here's obviously the king-size bedroom. You've got the TV.
Here in Banyan Bintan, you truly feel like you've got your own personal slice of paradise. And when you want to venture outdoors, the resort also offers loads of other facilities. Such as swimming pools, a curated gift shop, and an incredible private beach. But I've lounged enough for one day. It's time for a little detour to the wild side of Bintan. Welcome to Safari Lagoi, located a short 15-minute drive south of Banyan Bintan. This safari is home to some majestic, rare, and exotic animals. Here, you're given an up-close and personal experience with the wildlife. Well, the ones that won't eat you, that is. You can take a buggy ride across the entire safari, stopping by the enclosures to see, and when possible, feed the animals. Safari Lagoi is home to more than 40 unique species. And on our visit, we had the chance to see a pair of ostriches, a lovely female elephant named Melly, a couple of Sumatran tigers, a whole host of birds, and so many more. Many of the animals here were rescued from the illegal pet trade and exotic meat markets. This safari is Bintan's sole refuge center for endangered animals, and is under the supervision of Indonesia's Ministry of Environment and Forestry. So, the safari continues to do its best efforts in conserving these magnificent creatures. After my visit to the safari, I wanted to learn more about the local wildlife conservation efforts. Luckily, Banyan Bintan has a sea turtle conservation program that's been running since 2008. Occasionally, the program holds a sea turtle release that is open to the public, and of course, I just had to attend. The conservation program works alongside local communities and the government to ensure that sea turtle eggs found in the nearby beaches are able to hatch properly and therefore increase their chances of surviving in the wild. Most of the sea turtles found here are green and hawksbill sea turtles, both of which are considered endangered. After the eggs are found, they'll be brought to the hatchery site where they'll be safe from predators and poachers. After the eggs hatch, the staff will nurture them before eventually releasing them into the wild. Some of the turtles took a little while to reach the water, but eventually, every single one of the little fellas managed to successfully find their way into the sea. After the release, I spoke to one of the conservation program's staff, Mr. Henry, to learn more.
On average, how many sea turtles do you reckon you save and release every year?
Well, for this year, actually we have a very good number. We can say only our resort, 22 nests until now. So in 20 nests, it can be almost 3,000 eggs only for this year. From the 3,000, of course, there's not 100% eggs, but in average, I can say more than 80% the total eggs, which is a very good number.
There's something quite magical about being a part of a sea turtle's first journey out into the sea. Knowing that one day, several years down the line, these very same sea turtles will come right back into this same exact beach to lay eggs of their own, and the cycle begins anew. And as the day turns to night, we made our way back to our resort for a well-earned rest. But before we tuck in, we visited the Treetop Restaurant at the resort for a delicious Richtafel-style dinner.
Alright, so as you can see, the chef has lovingly prepared us this 3-course meal made up of 10 dishes inspired by Indonesian cuisine from across the archipelago, and it is prepared Richtafel style, which means we'll be sharing with my crew, who are currently still behind the camera obviously, but also with our friends from Bintan Resorts, Kak Theo and Kak Yuli. So let's take a crack at it. I'm sure we're all really starving after a long day of work.
And so, we close off another day with some incredible food. The day was indeed quite eventful. However, we figured it was time to venture outside of the resort area. In fact, we figured we'll make a journey outside of the Bintan Island altogether to the legendary island of Penyengat, the former seat of power of a long-forgotten kingdom. So, don't go anywhere.
See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Just off the western coast of Tanjung Pinang lies a tiny island with a huge role in the region's history. This island was once the seat of a powerful sultanate, which ruled much of the Riau archipelago and several islands in the South China Sea. This is Penyengat Island. To travel to Penyengat Island from Tanjung Pinang, we had to take a boat, locally known as a pom-pom, from the Tanjung Pinang port. The trip only takes around 15 minutes, but you'll have to wait until enough people board the pom-pom, unless you're willing to fork up more money to cover the rent of the boat just for yourself. The island is so close to Tanjung Pinang that you can already see some of the famous historical landmarks before the pom-pom reaches the docks. And as you enter the island, you will be greeted with the first landmark, the Grand Mosque of the Riau Sultan.
Alright, Alright, so we just got off the boat, or the pom-pom as the locals here like to call it, into Penyengat Island. Now, one of the first things that you'll notice from Penyengat Island, even before crossing here, is this huge yellow mosque. Now, this mosque is actually a remnant of the Riau Sultanate era in the early 19th century, and it is one of the few buildings from that era that still remain untouched. Now, despite the yellow exterior of the mosque, one of the fun facts about this building is that they actually used egg whites as a binder during the construction phase. Bet you didn't know that.
Built in 1812, the mosque blends influences from Javanese and Dutch architecture and is still used by the locals today as a place of worship. Penyengat Island is small, roughly only 2 kilometers from end to end, but walking around is still a hassle. So, to get around quicker, we rented out a couple of bentors, or becak motor, which are these pedicabs attached to motorcycles that are popular amongst tourists. Scattered across the island are numerous historical sites, ruins of buildings from the time of the Sultanate, and graves of prominent figures from that era. One of the most important sites, especially relating to the Riau Sultanate's conflict with the Dutch, is located on Bukit Kursi, or Kursi Hill, which is the highest point on the island. This is where the Sultanate made their stand.
Now, during the time of war with the Dutch colonial forces, this place, the Bukit Kursi Fortress, is where the Riau Kingdom made their stand. Now, looking around, it doesn't seem much like a fortress at all, because it isn't really a fortress in the traditional sense. It's more of a vantage point slash storage area for munitions and equipment and other logistics, as well as a place where women and children can be kept safe. Now, this is the highest point in Penyengat Island, which makes it an ideal place to build a fortress.
After visiting the old fortress, we went down to the island's southern coast to drop by the village hall, which now also serves as a museum to the island's history, as well as a spot where tourists are able to rent out some traditional garb and pose for photos. Right across from the hall, you can see a long and empty pier, which stretches far into the sea. Walk out here if you're looking for a cool breeze and serene views. Seeing history is one thing, but tasting it is a completely different experience. Luckily for us, the Old Kingdom didn't only leave ruins, it also left behind an age-old recipe for a special beverage. A drink fit for kings. This is air dohot, a traditional drink that dates back to the times of the Riau Lingga Sultanate. It's a refreshing, sweet beverage infused with 10 different dried fruits. This concoction used to be made only for the Sultan and his family, as it required fruits gathered from different parts of the globe. But a local family business has managed to replicate the recipe using old royal manuscripts, and now it's freely available for purchase. I sat down with Mrs. Susanna Fitri, who is part of the family that owns the business, to learn more about this kingly beverage.
Air dohot ini dinamakan juga minuman para raja zaman dahulu. Pada zaman kerajaan Riau Lingga, yang khususnya yang berada di Pulau Penyengat dulu. Jadi ini resep warisan yang diturunkan secara turun-temurun oleh generasi-generasi sebelum kami. Pada masa lalu, air dohot ini disajikan untuk menjamu tamu-tamu undangan di istana. Karena selain rasanya segar, air dohot juga punya khasiat. Terutama kalau dulu Nenek saya itu sering mengatakan ini untuk bongkar panas. Kalau misalnya badan kurang fit gitu, ayo kita minum air dohot biar segar.
And so, with the last few sips of air dohot, we end this island hopping adventure. From the waters of Lagoi Bay to Penyengat Island's abandoned fortress. We saw that Bintan provides not only incredible luxury experiences and scenic tropical getaways, it also possesses a wealth of history, age-old traditions, and diverse wildlife that are cared for and continue to be preserved by the people who call this island their home. And just like the sea turtles, I hope to come back here one day to see everything is just as beautiful as I've left it.